What's up, Epic 7? TristenWulf here. Wanted to go over a little bit of news which hit today. Nothing super earth-shattering, but let's jump in and see what SMILEGATE had to say with us. Now, one of the things they promised to do was to be a little bit more communicative with us to, make sure we knew what was going through their minds, and they have done that. So a lot of us were complaining about the removal of raid when they said try to understand, but then they gave us no explanations, no reasons, no reason for the understanding. Well, they have responded, and it's a lot. So let's go over it, and let's discuss what we've got going on here. Hello heirs, this is the Epic 7 development team. Today I would like to address two major topics that many of the heirs brought up recently. One, the removal of Asmikalis of Cycles, Raid Labyrinth, and the launch of the regular season of our new content, Trial of Constellations. First and foremost, I sincerely apologize for the lack of prior explanation regarding the removal of Asmikalis of Cycles and the addition of Trial of Constellations, which understandably caused some confusion and concern amongst our heirs. Though this message may come a bit late, I'd now like to explain the reasoning behind the removal of Asmikalis' Cycles and share what you can expect from Trial of Constellations going forward. Asmikalis' Cycle was originally designed as a monthly raid-style dungeon featuring 5 boss encounters. It has long served as a familiar challenge for our heirs. However, since the Nightmare difficulty update in 2022, it hasn't received any major updates to its bosses or rewards. Many heirs shared that its lengthy playtime and fixed paths had made the experience feel repetitive and tiring. So let's stop right there and break this down. So they haven't done anything with this content since 2022. And we told them, it's like, hey, it's a little stale. We've been doing this for 3 years now, and it's the exact same thing every month for 3 years. Spice it up, make it a little bit different. I think what the community was asking for was maybe an ultra nightmare raid, maybe new raid dungeons, maybe more bosses, maybe expansion of the lore, maybe updating of the gear to be a little more consistent with modern needs. But SMILEGATE wanted to take it a step further. They said, hey, instead of redesigning what we already got, let's launch something new and try to keep the hype train rolling. So I can respect them for that. I think their heart was in the right place, just fell a little bit flat. Let's move on a little bit further. Now, with the regular season of Trial Constellation about to begin, I'd like to walk through some up-and-coming changes. First, with the launch of regular season Trial Constellations, Asmikalis' Cycle will be discontinued. So guys, stop saying don't get rid of it. It's going to happen. I'm not happy about it either. Other games that compete with Epic 7, our biggest competition out there, have 2 to 3 times as much PvE content to sink your teeth into as Epic 7 does. Now, there's such a thing as too much, right? You don't want it to be so overbearing you can't keep up with it. It's got to be respectful of your time. It is a mobile game after all, but still, we have less PvE content than pretty much all of the relevant competition, and I think that's a bad thing. But this is what they've decided to do. And I know the majority of the community has come out saying we don't want this gone, but remember, they promised to be more communicative, not to bend a knee to all of our wishes. And that's what they're doing here. We may not agree with what they're communicating, but at least they're telling us and giving us reasons, and for that I'm happy to see it. All rewards previously available from the Nightmare difficulty Asmikalis will still be obtained in the Nightmare difficulty Trial of the Constellations. Additionally, the equipment from the exchange will be periodically rotated to allow heirs to acquire a wider variety of equipment. So this is nice. They're saying, hey, nothing that was obtainable in Nightmare Asmikalis is going away. They're going to make sure that is still available, and in addition, they're going to periodically rotate other equipments into a wider variety. I can't wait for the Revenge Set month. That's going to be an amazing month, guys. Sarcasm. Second, to provide a more challenging content to heirs who have steadily progressed, we'll be introducing a new Perdition difficulty. In line with the increased difficulty, and +6 level 88 gear will be obtainable in the Perdition difficulty level once it officially launches. Some translation challenges here, and SMILEGATE maybe not Englishing so well, but I'm trying to read between the lines. I think what this means is not that there will be a whole new Perdition level, like not Perdition and then Perdition plus Ultra. I think what this means is they're going to take the existing Perdition and retool its difficulty to be harder. Maybe it's too, I mean, remember, this was just a beta. They have the ability to change things. So we're either getting a whole ass new Perdition level, Perdition now more Perditionier, or they're just adjusting the Perdition level up to be more in line with increased difficulty, because everybody said, hey, Trial of Constellations not hard enough. Sarcasm. What I think happened, because I said it when we did it, they want us to engage with the garbage blessing system, and I'm going to call it what it is. The blessing system in Trial of Constellations is hot garbage, and nobody likes it. That's what needs retooled. When we beat it, when we actually beat Perdition the first time through, I remember telling the people in the room with us, like, SMILEGATE's going to be so pissed off at this. They didn't want us to do this. They did not want us to be able to beat Perdition. They wanted us to have to go through their constellation system to build up their crappy roguelike, to get strong enough over a period of months to eventually work our way up to being able to do Perdition. And the fact that we actually beat it probably has some developers flipping desks. And if I'm right on that, I can see them like, we'll show them, we'll just make it harder, and now they won't be able to beat it. So yeah, that might be what's happening here. They said, we did not design the system to be beaten. We don't care that you've played this game for 7 years and that you've got the gear and the miles and the units and that you put in the effort to be able to do this content. We're locking it behind this garbage constellation system, and you will have to engage with this crappy roguelike if you want to be able to beat Perdition level now. So basically, long story short, I think what this sentence is saying is, no, play this mode the way we want you to play it, not the way you want to play it. And that, I think, is a bad take. And it's not a feel-good moment for veterans, and it's a super uber frustration moment for the newer players, because when they see the veterans not be able to do it, they're going to say, why should I even bother? That said, we sincerely apologize for not providing enough explanation or guidance ahead of this major content update. We'll make sure to communicate more clearly and effectively in the future. We consider communication with our heirs to be top priority. Going forward, we'll do our best to provide ample notice before major content updates so you can fully understand and prepare for upcoming changes. Remember, communication is just the flow of information between SMILEGATE and us. They didn't say they would consider our feedback. They didn't say they would consider our wishes. They said that they would communicate with us and let us know why they were moving in certain directions, that they've got metrics showing that heirs weren't happy with what we had, so they're looking at changing it, and they feel that it was too easy, that we were beating it when we shouldn't be, so they're making it harder. This is the communication we're getting. If you think the communication is they're going to listen to what we say and do what we ask, okay, first of all, the community are terrible developers. The community should not drive the direction of the game. The community should influence the direction of the game, and SMILEGATE is better than most games at listening to the community and letting us help steer the direction of the game. But they aren't going to bend a knee on this one. As McAllister's cycle is going away, I think it's an L take, and it's bad. And I know a lot of people are out there like, yeah, I've been playing this game for a long time and I don't bother doing Nightmare Raid anymore. I've talked to a lot of people like, yeah, I just skip it. I don't do that content anymore. Most of these are veteran endgame players. They're doing other things. They're the same kind of players who skip doing Arena. They're just focused on grinding hunts to get their gear to be better at Guild Wars or RTA. And that's their content. And that's fine. That is the end game. But there will be no end game players if there are not things for early, mid, and late game players to sink their teeth into and enjoy and get hooked on Epic 7 to get to the end game. That's how the end game shrinks and gets smaller. So I don't like removing the PvE, removing the things that get the mid and late game players into the end game. And that's what it feels like we're doing here. So I'm really not thrilled that this is the direction they're taking, but they seem married to it. And I don't think anything short of a truck would get them to change their mind. Not that I'm recommending a truck on this. So make sure you get your As McAllister cycle done. It is indeed going away. Now, as for the Perdition and Trial of Constellations, I know it sucks. There's tons of lore. There have been side stories and events, compelling characters, seeing the human form of Vera and knowing that's never going to get explored again. There's a lot of stuff going away when Nightmare Raid goes away. Sorry, Labyrinth is staying. This is only Nightmare, As McAllister cycle, and Hell, As McAllister cycle. They're going away. A normal Labyrinth is staying. I know seeing all that lore, all that history, all kind of going away instead of being expanded upon and built upon kind of sucks. I know the Trial of Constellations has like 0 lore and 0 story, and it feels very, very vanilla. The rewards are better, so at least we've got that. I know it sucks having to climb through the roguelike, having to do the garbage constellation system, but you will eventually get there. Think of it like Heart of Orbis. Heart of Orbis, the rewards sucked the first few months. You maybe got some Molagora if you were lucky, but now we're getting far enough in where people are taking swings at that 23 speed sword. In a few months from now, it'll be a little bit more common. The rewards will be much better. You'll actually start seeing double and triple S rewards dropping into your box once in a blue moon instead of it's only other people, not me. This will be like that. The further we get into the constellations, the easier this becomes, the closer it'll be to just pressing auto, to not having to have the best units and the best gear, and it'll make it a lot easier and a more rewarding thing. What I fear is that it'll make it so easy that it won't feel compelling. It'll feel a lot like brawl mode, where yeah, it was hard at the start and then it was easy, and the entire time it was boring. And I don't want that. I think they need to find a way to make this more compelling, either through lore, either through story, either through diversity, something to make it enjoyable, because the general sentiment is that Trial of Constellations is just Hall of Trials 2, right? It's Hall of Trials plus Ultra. It's Hall of Trials made more difficult and more exclusive, and that's not a good replacement for Asmacalsa Cycles, which though some people didn't do it and some people did do it, the biggest complaint was it was repetitive and boring, and it's being replaced with something where the biggest and most common complaint is it's hard and not fun. And that's a problem for the developers at SMILEGATE to figure out. So let SMILEGATE know. Comment on this video. I will make sure they see the comments. More importantly, comment in the Stove post, because they do read Stove. And let them know how you feel. I certainly let them know how I feel. You can let them know how you feel too. Now, real quick, I want to cover something for Trial of Constellation, because a lot of people don't understand how this garbage system works, and I'm going to show you a couple things about how it works. So when you go into the Blessing of the Stars, to get to this third constellation tier, I need 2,600 points. You can see it under this info tab, 2,600 points. So here's the thing though. They don't necessarily want smartly well-built 6-star heroes. Like, check out this Harsetti. Here's a pretty decent Harsetti for what I'm running her at. She's got good effectiveness, 20k HP. I mean, she's not setting the world on fire, but I don't play her that much. But she's all maxed out with a plus 30 artifact. She's nearly plus 15 mola. She doesn't have any 88 gear. Well, I guess she has the weapons 88 gear. You think this would work fine, but when I add this Harsetti to the list, I'm still at 2545. I'm not quite to the 2600 I need. Why? Because this stupid blessing system doesn't want 6-star units that are well geared. All they care about is gear score. Here, watch. I'll take her out. We'll go into the same Harsetti here, and I'm just going to go into manage, and I'm going to sort by equipment score, and I'm just going to put my best gear score gear on this girl. There we do. Build makes no sense at all. Not a single cohesive set. Just went for my highest gear score gear and nothing else mattered. And now when I add her, bam, I get my third constellation, and now I've got the reduced speed and it's easier to do. So they're actively wanting you to take your best gear off of your best units and randomly put it onto other units, making them unusable just so you can do this, and then put all the gear back without savable gear loadouts, and especially without constant free unequip. This is a punitive system that's going to cost people a lot of gold. It's going to keep people from playing it because they don't have the super high gear score. I mean, I'm not joshing you a little bit here. This wrong Harsetti. This Harsetti that we just slapped in there. Look at the average gear score on these pieces. Average gear score. This isn't gear that people are just going to have laying around, so they're going to have trouble even when they get the points to buy the potential to open up the constellations. They're going to have trouble filling it out. They're going to have to wait even longer and harm their accounts so they can get this out of the way. And that's the way it's going to feel every month. Instead of, yeah, I get to do the new content, it's, I get to get this content out of the way. This blessing system needs scrapped, replaced, before anything else. This needs to be completely revamped because this is not it. This is the part of it that I think most people are going to complain about, is going to suck the fun out of it. I know Smilegate is really into roguelikes right now. I know Chaos Zero Nightmare is leaning heavily into the roguelike model, and it gives me great concern when they execute it this poorly. So hopefully this gets addressed. I'm done asking for Nightmare Raid to be brought back. I'm done asking them to try to save Asmacalsa Cycles. It's falling on deaf ears. Smilegate's going to Smilegate. They've made their decision and nothing's going to change it. So I'm changing tunes. I'm shifting gears. This system gives way better gear than the old system, and that's a plus. But this system is even less engaging. You thought people weren't playing Nightmare Raid? Wait till you see this. And worse yet, people are going to want to play this because the rewards are insane, but they're going to be gated. They're going to be confused. It's not just that this blessing system is bad. It's that how to do it is completely obfuscated and makes little sense. Use 6-star units with good gear, but not well-built units, just random good gear, because you got to get that gear score up high enough that you can trigger the next tier of the constellation. So take some of your best units, make them unusable, steal gear from other usable units, make them unusable, and remember, when this goes live, we get light and dark as well, so you're going to have even more constellations to fill out. Do you know how many units and how much gear it's going to take to make this system feel good, to give yourself the edge you need? You're gonna have to re-gear your whole account around this and then put all the gear back. So basically everybody's just going to do this during unequip events and ignore it the rest of the time. And during those unequip events, people will be hating on it left and right if you don't fix this system. So Smilegate, get on it, because this isn't the flex you think it is. And in the meantime, maybe give us some story, maybe give us an event, maybe give us some lore, maybe tell us who these people are, what these people do, something to make the community relate to and get excited with. It talks about a scion of relentless burgeoning forests who molded in the shape of the great wind. I mean, that's great, but it's just word salad. It doesn't mean anything to us. It's not compelling. We're not invested in this story at all. There's no human form Vera, if you get what I'm saying. Anyway, so that's the news. That's my take on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and good luck with your constellations. Oh, and for those who are going to ask in the comment section, because I can see you out there typing the question, I have no idea. I have no idea if these things are going to carry over from the beta into the full version. I assume they will, because it would be harder for them to code this as a completely separate system and just restart it at the beta. But I suspect everything's going to carry over and it'll be just like this beta was actually the first season. But we don't know for sure. I guess we all get to find out on the 1st. Have a great one, Epic 7. Take care.